Welcome our YouTubers to our 6th Q&A with me, Daniel Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me, it's the one and only NJ.
What's up?
Half and other half of the British Fist. NJ?
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching indeed. Make sure you guys subscribe up above, of course, like this video, put your comments down below, and keep sending in your questions via YouTube inbox, through commenting below, of course, or through our facebook.com/British Fist.
And make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Yes, definitely, if you want to send us questions, of course, which we want, because we love answering questions, don't we, NJ?
We do, very much so.
Yes, so should we go on to our first question then?
Yeah, let's.
Using our TNA gimmick there. The first question comes from a YouTube user, Chargo21. He asks us, what do you guys think of Sin Cara? Do you guys think he has a future in WWE? Do you think he's going to be the next Mysterio, or do you think he's going to be a short-time attraction like the Ultimate Dragon? NJ, I'll go to you on this one first.
Well, what we both agree on is that Triple H is the one who signed him.
He's Triple H's first major signing as head of talent or something.
Well, I'm going to say that first, when I looked at him, I thought, oh, blooming heck, just because Ray's leaving, they're going to have another flipping Rey Mysterio, and he's going to shoot to the top. But as it's gone on, he seems to be like Rey Mysterio version 2, because he's a lot better than Rey Mysterio.
He's a lot less watered down than Rey Mysterio, isn't he?
And I'm thinking, yeah, I think he's going to become a lot better than what we think he is.
I still think he will become a big star based on his merits with Triple H as head of talent relations or something. I mean, I think he could, in regards to being the next Mysterio, I don't think he'll be the next Mysterio, but I think he'll be the next sort of big draw Lucha Libre guy they have. Because we all know Rey Mysterio was a great draw, and, you know, Sin Cara, in that way, he sells masks, he sells merchandise, so they might use him as their next draw. And that's one of the reasons why I think WWE may use him, and maybe even possibly in the main event, just because of his drawing power in the merchandise sales, like Cena and Rey.
And what we've seen, he's very entertaining to watch, something, and that's just going to keep on growing as he moves up in the WWE.
Yeah, they just need to find people who can work with him well, or else his matches are just not going to be
very
good.
Over time, he'll probably get a voice, and then he'll probably work along better with the wrestlers.
Give him a manager, he needs a voice, especially if you can't talk on the mic or speak English, which you can't do. But anyway, bright future for Sin Cara, definitely.
We agree on that, yes.
From what we can see from the early stages of his career.
Yes.
Next question comes from El Trixer. Nice name. He says, my question is, what is your all-time favourite gimmick and why? And I think a lot of you out there can probably guess what NJ's favourite gimmick is going to be.
Number 1, the game. Triple H being the best that he is. He's moved on every year. He keeps proving that he's the best. He keeps saying he's the best. And then the other one is going to be Kane's. I like the whole monster gimmick and him just being someone you've got to watch out for.
Okay, would you prefer masked or unmasked? Just out of interest.
They're both quite interesting for me. Good question this is. So it's kind of got me thinking that both have got good sides to it. But I'm saying maybe if they carried on with, when they first removed masks, they carried on with him being a monster, I would have gone with non-mask. Yeah. But he was more of a monster with the mask.
Same here, I do agree with the mask. My all-time favourite gimmick is going to be Undertaker. Now, the reason I say this is because there's not many people out there that can make a gimmick last for, you know, as long as he has. And although I like the Stone Cold Steve Austin and Rock gimmicks, which were very high in the Attitude Era, we all know how much crowd reaction, you know, the Rock's gimmick and Stone Cold's gimmick as an ass kicker got and everything. But in terms of longevity, Undertaker has to win this just because he's held this gimmick out for 20 years or so. He's got this WrestleMania streak going, which all adds to his gimmick. He's had a dark gimmick, which I prefer over his biker gimmick, but he's been able to reinvent himself many times.
The thing with Undertaker is that as much as I've started to go up him now, I think he has held on to a gimmick for the longest. Yeah. And he's definitely, again, putting his money where his mouth is and proving that his gimmick works well with him. Yeah.
But of course, you've got to acknowledge Rock and Stone Cold's gimmicks were high at the time, but didn't have as much longevity. But will still be considered longevity in terms of the wrestling business, but will still be considered like remembered as gimmicks in the times to come. You know, when we go past this sort of PG era, people still remember Rock and Stone Cold, won't they, for their gimmicks?
They would do.
So there we go. The next two questions we've got are from AVZ Spike 7001, 70,001 there. The first question he says is, what are your thoughts on the Destination X pay-per-view coming up with all the X divisions? This is, of course, the TNA pay-per-view they've got, Destination X. NJ, what are your immediate thoughts?
Again, from what I've seen in past TNAs, these have been the entertaining matches. These are the matches that I look out for. These are the matches I want to see. So I'm saying, as it's coming up to a pay-per-view about it, I think it's going to be really entertaining, and it's just going to be, we're going to get to see all the great X Division wrestlers.
Past and present as well.
Yeah, so it should be good.
Yeah, we must reiterate we are recording this before Destination X. Number one, before Destination X starts, and number two, we are also recording it before the second week of Impact after Slammiversary. So we don't really know too much of what's going on yet. From what we've heard, there's going to be a really nice tournament going in to see who gets a contract from past guys and people like Austin Aries and Kid Cash. And there's also going to be a main event match between, I think, Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles, which I'm really looking forward to. They might throw Samoa Joe into the mix there. So as a pay-per-view, this really has a lot going for it. It has a good main event, has a good gimmick going to it. It will have an Ultimate X match, which is always a good match. I've shown you a couple of those.
You have, yes.
So it all in all adds up to being a very entertaining pay-per-view, as NJ said earlier.
So I'm going to say, at the moment, as it's not happened yet, I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
I'm definitely looking forward to it, even though I might miss it, but that's another story. The second question he asked us is, what if the 6'9" Aloysia, or Isis the Amazon, who was on NXT Preview, was still in the WWE along with Karma? What do you think could have happened in the Divas division? Well, I'll say one thing. Two people like Karma and Aloysia would have really, or Amazon, as she was known, or whatever her name is, could have really been a dominant tag team. Or, but Karma could probably do that on her own, couldn't she, really? And I don't think she has I don't think Amazon has the wrestling skills to really be able to make it in WWE, personally, from what I've seen.
Well, with a 6'9" girl and Karma, I think they could have put on great matches against each other, because they're both the same kind of build and that. But I'm saying it's best to have one, just so it doesn't outbeat the other divas.
Well, the thing is, right, especially with those two, it's a thing you can only drag on for a very short amount of time, a feud between them two. Them two being in there together, I think would be a good thing. But it's just that you need to give other divas a chance, and and other divas can't believably beat some people like that because they're just so damn dominant and they're so damn big. Especially someone like Karma, who will probably get ruined like Carly eventually when she returns.
So I'll say leave it as what they just got Karma.
Yeah.
Just leave
it with Karma at the moment. I think, even though we could work, but leave it as Karma for the time being.
Yeah, that's it.
The next 4 questions we have is from XX Ray Thompson XX. Nice name there with the X's. Also known as Mark Fitzpatrick, who resides from Cork Island. So, yes, we'll be happy to answer these questions.
Irish people.
Yeah, definitely. We love the Irish. The Irish. You've got Irish in your blood, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
so
you've got an Irish
we
grandma.
have something similar there.
There we go, you see. Oh, we're connecting with the fans already.
Yeah.
Subscribers, fans, same way. All right, first question he asked us is, do you think the WWE will go back to TV-14 eventually, or at least go back to being more brow and not pondering to the younger demographic?
When I look at WWE, with this, what they're doing now, they stick with the PG, but they're adding bits of hype and a bit of excitement. So I'll say what they're going to keep doing is work with that, I think.
Yeah, I think they're going to stay in PG for a little while due to Linda's Senate runs and everything. They probably will go back eventually. I can see them doing it because we all know that when they go to TV-14, they can do more edgy storylines that can appeal to the hardcore fans and the sort of mass... I mean, let's put it this way. The mass age demographic is 18 to, 39? So you need to cater to your sort of 78% demographic, which is 18 to 39. And so to do that, you need to really accommodate these things, especially TV-14, where you need more edgy storylines and all that kind of thing, rather than children, which is, 18% demographic?
Yeah, so what I'm going to say is, as much we all like what used to happen in the WWE, I think with the PG, they have to keep building on that, try and make that as entertaining as they can, because they're basically that's what they're stuck with at the minute.
But the thing is, they do need to move on. They do need to... I mean, this PG era, is there, but they need to move on from the times. There's never going to be another Attitude Era. But they can bring back aspects into it.
That's what they're trying to do now,
Exactly, yeah. They did it with, like, The Rock and Cena, didn't they? And Stone Cold Steve Austin, so... Why not? They could probably return that. I do think they should ponder to the older demographic, though. Just go back to a wrestling base rather than an entertainment base. But that's just my opinion on that one, really.
I pretty much agree. But talking about Stone Cold, our next question reads, do you think Stone Cold will return to WWE for one more run? This has been hinted on Tough Enough, which is why I asked.
Do you think he could come back for one more run?
No.
I think he's got it in him. I just don't think. I think he knows that he should really stay away from the business from a wrestling point of view. I think he knows that personally.
Going with what you said, he's still got it in him. Yes, he has. I'm pretty sure of that. But I think, like I say of other wrestlers, they should not sponge off them anymore. I think they're in the past. It's good to see them come back and do visits and that, but I think they need to start working on what they've got. So Stone Cold returning. Not for full time.
The thing is, we all know Stone Cold Steve Austin left because of injuries, right? And when you get back into stuff, and if you get back in the ring, back into competition, and people like Stone Cold naturally have a competitive edge about them because that's just what they've naturally been like their whole lives. People like Booker T. So really, I think, you know, it's obviously influenced in this whole Tough Enough thing. But really, I think it should, at this time in the business, even if WWE really needs someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin to come around at some point to put maybe a TM Punk over or something, depending on whether he leaves or not, you know, really, Stone Cold shouldn't really return. Just because we don't want him to hurt himself, and we're not really sure what he could do. And
at the moment, we're still at the stage of getting new favourites now, because all the Attitude Era and the old ones are starting to leave now. We've been left with clean faces, so I think they should stick to what they've got now.
Yep, definitely. The next question he asked us is, what do you expect next year's WrestleMania to be like? Interesting thoughts. Do you think WWE will rely heavily on the Rock vs. Cena gimmick? Or do you think next year's WrestleMania will feature many highly anticipated matches? Now, I think we're of different opinion on this one, aren't we?
We do.
Explain yours first.
When I look at the idea of next WrestleMania, I think they're going to have lots of... They could try and make next WrestleMania better than the one we just had. So I think they're going to look at it and thinking, what could we do? We've got Rock vs. Cena. Great, that's going to be great for the fans. But we need more than just that. So I think they're going to try and hype up with other matches to try and bring in more people to look forward to other matches.
If you're Vince McMahon right now and you're thinking to yourself, Rock Cena is a draw, it's a big draw, it'll probably get the million pay-per-view buys. Vince McMahon is probably thinking to himself, do I really need to put too much effort into the other matches?
Well, to be honest, they can't just draw on one match.
No, they can't just draw on one match, but let's look at...
There's still another 2 hours worth.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, you know, there's a big... The draw is there. Do they really need any other draw? They're going to need to make other matches, but I think they will focus a lot on this Rock Cena gimmick, just because it's a once in a lifetime thing. This will be a sort of last match, I guess. And it's the once in a lifetime thing they're going to have to hype up to.
But then again, it's still WrestleMania, and the whole WrestleMania itself needs to get good ratings.
Yeah, I do believe that too. But I just think WWE will focus on the Rock Cena gimmick for pay-per-view buys and for you know, and for reception, so to speak. They'll have other matches, of course.
They would have to.
But that will probably get the best hype just because it's Rock and Cena and it goes back a year. I don't know. You know, it could work either way. To be honest,
way, yeah.
I really do hope they don't concentrate on the gimmick, but I feel they may do that, as some of the booking is a bit lazy at the moment. But that's just our opinions on that. The last question he asked us is, when do you think, if at all, The Undertaker will make his highly anticipated return? And if he returns, who will he face at WrestleMania?
Well, I look at Taker, as I've called him before, Brittle Legs Taker.
Brittle Legs Taker.
That's it, basically, because I think he's starting to have it now. He's starting to be worn out. And I'm just saying, Taker, be done with it. You've done great for the WWE. You've proven that many times well. You've proved that many WrestleManias as well. So I think you shouldn't come back. But if you do come back at WrestleMania, an opponent for you, yes, you said you want to lay down to Triple H, but I don't think you'd be doing it for 3 WrestleManias. It's made me think Wade Barrett, because he's someone that you were meant to have faced at WrestleMania, someone you was meant to have passed the torch to, but...
There are many options WWE have got. Like you said, they've got Barrett. They can use Orton, because we all know how well Orton is booked. He could be believably done to beat Undertaker, although I wouldn't like it. They could use a guy like Del Rio, a new guy who really needs a push. Maybe even if they have the next big face like a Riley or a Mason Ryan, they could use it to sort of promote them as the bigger face if they know it's a sure thing. You know, and he also suggested Kane.
Again,
he said, I would love if he could finish a feud with Kane, because I think they would gather great publicity every time they wrestle, and this would be the perfect way for Undertaker to step from the WWE as he is winding down his career.
I'm going to be two-sided about this, because
Same here.
it's unfair to be one-sided to things like this. My good side to it is they've had a lot of storyline behind them. Like you've had Kane beat Taker many times, win the World Heavyweight Championship, stop looking strong like a monster against his brother. There's the past history of when he was growing up as a child and that. But the bad side to it, as much as we would like to see that match because of their past, I think there's many of the wrestlers that are overpowering Kane now, stepping in front of Kane, who I think will make better matches for Taker.
I personally, just addressing the first question, I think he would return sometime this year, because I think he does need to complete his 20-0 streak at some point, maybe. In terms of him feuding with Kane, I don't really see that, as NJ said, because Kane has not really been made to look very strong, and if he beats Undertaker, where is that really going to go? They should really try and use this Undertaker streak gimmick as a launching point for another superstar's stardom, if you know what I mean. They should really do it they should really concentrate on that rather than focusing on someone whose own career is probably actually winding down at the moment as well in Kane. In terms of his age, of course, he could still go on for a couple of years, but who knows? Would the streak? Kane ending Undertaker's streak as brother versus brother could work well as a storyline, but not as a concept. You need a new guy.
Well, look at WrestleMania, and I think that WrestleMania is, in other words, Taker's. Taker owns WrestleMania, so I think. Well, I would like him to lose it, just so the next person who loses it to can have a big, massive step forward.
Yes.
So I'm saying, as much as I would love it to be Kane, believe me, I'm thinking they'll have to pass it on to someone else.
Same here, I think that too. That's been 15 minutes of us answering questions. Really?
It's been good.
It's been definitely good. We love enjoying your questions, and we love, especially these in-depth questions we get, because we can go very much in-depth with them as well. Sometimes we agree, as you see. Sometimes we disagree. It's sometimes good when we disagree, because we can draw an argument out between ourselves, and you guys can comment on it, of course. Make sure to leave your comments in the comment section below. Keep sending us your questions through YouTube inbox, commenting below, or on our Facebook, facebook.com/British Fist.
And when your questions come in, we'll be sure to answer the best we can, so keep them coming. And what we'll say is one word. Goodbye.